Donald Trump is receiving both scorn and praise for his defense of Planned Parenthood recently. And after watching the video and reading his comments, I believe that he has earned at least one of those two. But let's let you decide. Here is Donald Trump talking about Planned Parenthood.
Should taxpayers give, with the debt we have, 128 trillion in unfunded liabilities, should we even give them a penny?
Okay, so look, let's say there's two Planned Parenthoods in a way. You have it as an abortion clinic. Now that's actually a fairly small part of what they do, but it's a brutal part, and I'm totally against it, and I wouldn't do that. They also, however, service women. We have to help women. As far as the abortion stuff, absolutely.
But if they are doing abortions, then they can allocate their other resources to other things. The government, right. Why should the taxpayers pay for an organization that...
Maybe unless they stop with the abortions, we don't do the funding for the stuff that we want. There are many ways you can do that, Sean, because I'm totally against the abortion aspect of Planned Parenthood. But I've had many women, I've had many Republican conservative women come up and say Planned Parenthood serves a good function other than that one aspect.
Okay, so obviously I disagree with the abortion part, but that's among the most reasonable things Donald Trump has ever said.
Really?
Yeah, because...
I disagree.
Oh, that's fascinating. Okay,
let's hear it.
So first off, maybe I expect him, I should put words in your mouth, right, as the audience, but I expect him to be like, okay, what's going to get me votes here? All right, Planned Parenthood, Republicans hate it. Yeah, screw Planned Parenthood, tear it down brick by brick. I'll have the Mexicans burn it down, and they'll pay us to do it, right?
That'll be cheap.
Right. Whatever outrageous thing he's going to say. And his first comment that you didn't see here led in that direction. This was him come back up and saying, well, okay, no, wait up now. I hate the abortion part, but I like the other parts. And so he didn't get as specific as pointing out with the fact, which is that it's only 3% of what Planned Parenthood does. 3%, that's it, right? But he did say it's a small amount. And he mentioned that, oh, he might be open to, cutting all their funding unless they cut out the abortion stuff, right?
Seems significant to me.
Yeah, that's gigantic, but I don't think he's going to do it. What he's saying here is, I kind of like Planned Parenthood. And it's interesting for a Republican who's leading the polls to have the balls to do that, right? But that's what this guy is. I mean, he's 97% balls.
Yeah.
That's why he's
and then a
winning.
light layering of fake hair over it.
That's right.
Over the balls.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So he acknowledges the 3% factor. I don't even like referencing the 3% because I think people can twist that. Something like 12 or 13% of the women who use Planned Parenthood get an abortion through Planned Parenthood. So the vast majority go there and don't get. They get, STD screening, sexual education, prophylactics, things like that. But he's getting so much credit for defending Planned Parenthood, leaving that comment, whether he would actually defend it, which I don't know. But he's saying, basically, if you believe that they should get all of their money taken away unless they stop doing abortions, then that's reasonable. They're not going to do that, and so he's saying defund them, which is the same outcome as the other candidates. So, maybe he'd be sad about it because some good conservative women like it. Too bad, we're going to defund it. He'll be a little bit sad, but he still wants to defund it.
So I hear you, John, and the fact is, you're right, and I said it in my initial statement, which is that we have no idea what Donald Trump would do if he were actually president.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
Donald Trump doesn't know.
No, he has no idea.
Okay, so I agree with you on that. Now, and I, as I said it initially, I agree with you that point, if he followed through on it, would vitiate the rest of his stance.
Yeah.
Right? Now, having said that, what people are going to hear is Donald Trump is supporting Planned Parenthood. Yeah. That also has, I don't know if it's value, but it means something. And I think, so all the anti-abortion people agree with me because they now hate him. Yeah. So they're now coming out saying this guy's fake.
Yeah, we're going to read a little bit of that.
And by the way, here, I'll go way over the top of them. No, there's no way Donald Trump's actually pro-life.
No, I don't believe so.
He's totally pro-choice.
Yeah.
And I would be shocked if at some point in his life there wasn't some abortion somewhere. Okay, I mean, enterprising journalists out there. I'm not saying, well, you should
research.
You actually shouldn't. You should leave people's private lives alone.
Yeah.
Okay, even if he's running for president, because it involves some other person, right?
Yes.
Now, having said that, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
Okay, if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And we know he wasn't pro-life his whole life, right? We know that he's changed his.
Yeah, just like
points.
Christie up until like 2000, they didn't really seem to know or care.
Right. Now, having said that, I'm still sticking with the position of he appears to be pro-Planned Parenthood in this exchange.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll take it.